Welcome back everybody, vlog number 11, and today's a special one because today I'm going to show you how to make my mother's famous Ropa Vieja straight from her recipe. Don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave some comments down below. Let's get started. Alright, first things first. So I just cut up a nice big chunk of onion, and we're going to come over here to the pot, which I've already got a little heat going already. We're going to take some of I got grapeseed oil, and we're just going to put some oil in the bottom of here. Because what we're going to do first is we're going to saute onions. So we're going to just kind of break them up just like that. Throw them in there. Nice. Just like that. And let that sit, let the fire go. While that's going on, what we're going to do next is we're going to take some salt. We have our flank steak out. So I like to sprinkle on my hand so I have a little control over it. And we're going to throw some salt and some Goya adobo. It's going to go on top.
Oh yeah.
What's a good thing to do is kind of pat it in. Flip it over, and we're going to do the other side. All right, some salt. Beautiful. Let that sit just for a couple of minutes while that's heating up, and then we'll move on to the next stage. All right, now the next thing we're going to do, we got the onions already in there. They're already beginning to brown, not quite fully browned yet, but we're going to take the meat and we're going to put the meat right on top. And shut that down, let that go for a little bit. We're going to let those onions brown. When the onions brown, we're actually going to take them out. We just want to get those juices in there from the onion, and then we're going to take the onions out. But for right now, we're going to let that sit for a couple minutes. All right, so it's been a couple of minutes. The onions are still browning, but that flank steak, what we want to do at this point is we just want to turn it over. You can see the onions are browning, so we're flipping over the flank steak. Right, and put the top back on. Let that go for a couple more minutes. All right, so now what we're going to do, let's remove this. The onions have browned, so let's take the flank steak out. Let's just put it off to the side for now, just for a second. So I have a plate nearby. Now in here, we've got the browned onions, which we are now going to take out. And look at the bottom of that pan. Get a close-up of the bottom of the pan. That's what we want.
Wow.
And I'll show you why. So we're taking those onions out. The onions are done. They've done their job beautifully. They've sacrificed themselves for the tasty meal that we're going to be making. Beautiful. All right, all the onions are out. The meat goes back in. Right back in. Now we're going to add water. And we're going to add water. We want to cover the meat. So let's add the water. We're going to put a whole bunch of water in there, because now this is where the serious cooking happens. Beautiful. All right. So we got the meat in there, and we're going to add some salt. Beautiful. We're going to leave the cover off because what we want to do now is we want to bring this to a boil. So you can raise your flame, and that's going to sit until it comes to a boil. So keep an eye on it. Don't walk away. There's going to be some walk away time, but not right now. Right now, you just want to let that come to a boil. We've done a great job thus far. Onions are done. Look at those beautiful onions. They sacrificed their lives for this beautiful meal. Now they are done. And we're going to let that come to a boil. See you in a bit. All right, so there you see the water is boiling. And what we're going to do is we're now going to lower the flame to a nice little simmer. Then we're going to put the top on. That's gonna sit like this for 2 hours. Let that meat absorb that oniony water. Now, just so I explain what we did earlier, we browned those onions earlier and we took them out, and then we poured the water in. So there's gonna be the oniony flavor is gonna be in there, but not the onion, so it doesn't overpower the meat. So we just add the water, and the water has that oniony flavor to it, and that's what the meat is gonna sit in there now for a nice 2 hours and absorb all that, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna begin the shredding process. All right, so our meat has been simmering for 2 hours, roughly 2 hours, in the onion water, onionated water I like to call it. The meat is super tender, and what we're gonna do is we are going to remove it. Look at that, it's actually falling apart right now. It's ready to be shredded, which is the next phase. Now, we're not getting rid of this water, so. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna let that flank steak sit for a few minutes. Let's let it chill for a sec, and then we're gonna begin the shredding process. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this beautiful onionated water, as I like to call it, and we're gonna dump it over here. We're gonna keep it because we're gonna use this again. So you just find a place to put all that. Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And let that sit for the next phase. Okay, now we shred. Now we shred the flank steak. So what you want to get is a regular fork and a big fork. The big fork is just going to hold it down, and you're going to go along the grain. You can see there's a grain in the meat, and you just take the narrow fork and you pull it along, and the meat is so tender that it just shreds off, and you keep shredding it. Quick tip for you guys when you're shredding the flank steak is, especially if you have young children or senior citizens that will be eating this meal, is you want to shred it even more. So you can just get 2 of the same type of fork and just dig in there and really shred it so it's finer. This way it's easier to chew, and it just makes it a little bit more tenderized. Okay? Quick tip. All right, so oil in the pot. It's heated up, and now we go with sofrito. 2 tablespoons of sofrito. Ooh. Sofrito you can get in the supermarket. Goya, go in the Goya section, you'll find it in a jar. So 2 tablespoons of that. Get that going in there. Throw roughly 3 cloves of garlic, give or take, whatever you like. But we're gonna throw in 3 cloves of garlic. Incorporate that in. Work that in here a little bit. Nice. You can already start to smell those flavors. Wonderful. Work that in, nice. All right, next, your onions. Basically 1 onion, shred it up, nice. Put that in. Red pepper and green pepper, not a large one. Small to medium sized one for this particular meal we're making here. It's already filling the house with a beautiful smell. All right, next, always got to have the pitted olives. Drain the water a little bit and drop them in, as many as you like. We tend to like olives in our house here. All right. Work that in. Get a gander inside there. Look how beautiful that looks. All right. All right, so we're working these onions and peppers and the garlic and the olives, and you let that go until they're properly cooked. And you can tell by seeing, you know when these are done. And that's gonna sit for, maybe a couple of minutes or so, but keep an eye on it. You don't have to put a top on it. And we come back. All right, so onions and peppers and the garlic and the olives, they're all to that point where, take a look inside there. Look how nice it looks. They're cooked. And now is when we begin adding the tomato sauce. We're not adding the whole can, at least not yet. We're gonna add little bits. So just go around, right? That's good. Boom. Now work that in. Okay, slowly working it in. Now we can put the rest in. Small can of Goya tomato sauce. All right, this looks all wonderful. So the small can of tomato sauce goes in. Now this is optional, but in my house, Goya reigns supreme, especially our picante. Gotta throw in some hot sauce. Ooh. That's optional. Okay, we're ready. Now we got the shredded beef. Now we're ready to incorporate the meat into the beautiful mixture of pepper and onion, garlic, and you just work it in. Okay, all right, so all the meat is incorporated into that mixture that we made of the onions and peppers and garlic and olives and tomato sauce and all that. Now, remember, we took the juices originally with that the meat was sitting in, and we put it away. Now we're gonna use it, and we're gonna slowly incorporate it into the meat. So you don't pour it all in right at one time. Put a little bit in like this. And then work it in. Let it all start to absorb. And we're going to pour in a little bit more at this point. Nice. So we work that in. Again, always salt to taste. I'd like to add a little bit in, just a little bit more. Not too much, but again, it's your preference. Work that in. And also the sazon, if you wanted to throw some of that in there, you could. It's entirely up to you for the coloring. All right, we're gonna throw in a little sazon. Again, that's up to you how much. And we're gonna work that. All right, so at this point, we got everything already incorporated in the pot. It's been cooking. Now this is where you wanna do your little test. This is your taste test, so you can figure out if you need to add or if you feel like you want to add or anything like that. You can't take anything out, you can only add. So let me have a nice taste of it. It tastes good. All right, so it tastes wonderful. You just let it sit for a while. Essentially, it is done. At this point, you make some white rice. You pour that over some white rice. There's your meal. Hope you like that. If you have any comments or questions, put them down below. We'll respond immediately. But stay tuned. Again, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel because we have more coming. We got alcapurrias coming, mofongo, carne mecha, plátano. All right, everybody, that's it. Ropa Vieja from my mom. Mama, happy Mother's Day to you. And this is a happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. Hope you enjoy this recipe. Share it with your family and friends. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Salud. Peace.